Hey Homospaiens and Marbites, welcome back to another episode of Saturdayz with me, Marbz. I am Rogue Marby Scott for any of you new watchers and new subscribers. Hi! Look at my hair! So today, I decided to do my hair like this, well, not do it like this. This is how I go to bed when I want to keep my curls intact, basically. But because this is a Saturday morning, or hopefully you are watching it on a Saturday morning, this is how my mom used to do my hair, because she just did not know how to do it when I was younger. Anyway, without further ado, let me talk about this, let me just talk briefly on what this look is going to be. It's inspired by colour, it's inspired by strength and martial arts, it's inspired by little critters, basically. So today we are going to need some face paints. So if you've got face paints, get those out. If not, you can use eyeshadows. However, I will show you how to use eyeshadows on a part of the look that I'm going to do, because I'm not going to use these for all of the look, just part of it. Anyway, so week 14, one more week to go. But we're here now, so we're going to do this today. And yeah, I hope you're surprised. Have you been watching lately? Have you? Every Saturday? Because it has been going on for it's been going on for 14 weeks. Yeah. Anyway, we're going to go straight into the tutorial, and what I'm going to do first is block out my eyelids and go in with my first shades. So today I am using the Proud palette, and I am going to go in with the shade Julia with a fluffy brush and place that on my brow bone. So the reasoning behind my going in with a fluffy brush today is because I didn't want to go in too deeply with the shades that I'm using. So I wanted to kind of build it up until I was completely satisfied with that shade before I go on to blending a new shade into it. So I'm going to go in with the shade Miley, and I'm just going to blend that from my crease up into the previous shade. So I kind of put a lot onto that brush, but that's alright because we're blending. And we don't need to be perfect and precise with this blend, it just needs to have a blend. But it doesn't need to be perfect and precise because of what we are emulating today. We're going for, like, I want this to look very reptilian green. So today I am using a face paint to do some texturing onto my lids. Purely for the fact that I don't have my life together and I couldn't find my eyeliner, so I'm using face paints with a really thin brush. But I'm creating some you know, shapes there just to make it look like reptilian skin. Reptilian skin. Okay, so now I'm just preparing to cut my crease, and as you can see, I'm putting that concealer on my line, and then I'm going to blink, blink, blink like I'm the Exorcist or something. Call me Reagan, why don't you? But anyway, I'm just going to keep doing that and just build up on the shape that I specifically want for this eyeshadow look. And then once I'm happy, I am going to go in with the shade. What is the shade that I'm using from the Proud palette today? The shade is from the second line in the Proud palette, and it is called Ellen. So I'm just going to pack that on using a very dense brush because I want to pick up as much pigment as possible. And then once I'm happy with that Ellen, I am going to go in with Bowie. David Bowie. God rest his soul. I love David Bowie so much. And then taking some of that blue shade, Ellen, I'm going to mix that in with a less dense brush and then move on to using Jock onto my next eye. Is it Jock or is it Gok? It's Gok. Sorry, I'm looking at the... Yeah, don't worry. Anyway, placing Gok on, and then once I've placed Gok on, I'm going to go in with Graham, or I am going in with Graham to fill in the outer part of my eyelid, and then I'm going to use Gok just to blend those two together. So I have just started my eyes, as you saw, and now we're going to start on my forehead because I need to do my forehead first so that I can get everything in place. So you're going to need a white eyeliner, and let's draw you in a little bit closer. So using a white eyeliner pencil, I am going to create hexagons all over my head, and as you can see, I'm starting from the middle first and then I'm going to work my way out. Now when I decided to do this look, I thought maybe these hexagons could go like around the temples and everything, but I did blend them out using some concealer and my foundation. So I've done hexagons all over my forehead. I'm going to go and put my base on now, and I'm going to do that off camera. So as you can see, I've got my first layer of concealer on, and then I'm going in with a new shade or a different shade of concealer, just because I want my middle to be bright and then the rest to be a bit, you know, more to my complexion. And once I have blended that in with a beauty sponge, and this is what I'm talking about in the camera, on camera or whatever, but yeah, that's what I did. I'm gonna go in with my dark brown face paint and just go round the outlines of those hexagons that I've done, because I want those to be really dark before I move on. And then once I've done that, as you can see, I'm going in with a beigey color. Now this is showing up very peachy, but it is actually beige. But nonetheless, I'm going to put that in on all of the inner bits, and then once I've done that, I'm going to dry off my brush and then blend those edges in together just to make it look very shellish. I want this to look cartoonish, realish as well, because I'm using a real shell as reference. Do you realize what I'm doing so far? I have a shell on my head. No, maybe not. Okay, whatever. Going in with a small fan brush, and this is a face painting fan brush. I'm going in with that with yellow, and I'm just going to create speckles all over those just to create some highlights and some definition before we go in on to some detailing and definition, which I'm doing spirals in those shells in the form of a hexagon with black face paint. Do I need to say that I'm using black? If you can see it, maybe not, but I'm using black anyway. So going in with a very watery black face paint, I am just going on to the darker browns of that just to give it some definition and some sort of realism, just because it needs it. Like without it, it looks a bit just blah. So yeah, I don't want blah, I want yeah. Oopsie. So I've just put some tears here with some concealer, and I went in with the shade Cap to go underneath my waterline, like so. And then what I'm going to do is place yellow or Cap in random parts, and then go in with Elton to fill in the rest.
This is kind of looking cheesy. I'm getting hungry. I want some pizza.
I'm gonna dip into Red Dwarf from the Intergalactic palette just because I need a really red colour.
So Red Dwarf is possibly one of my most favourite colours from the Jolie Beauty brand company that makeup, just because I just love this red. But anyway, going on, I am using some concealer to create some shapes on my face, and as you can see, I've just created like a T shape on my face, and then I'm just creating little blobs everywhere else on my face, and then I am going to fill them in with some greens and some lighter yellows, just to, you know, give those greens a little pop and highlight. And then I'm going to put some light yellow into that T shape. Do you even know what I'm doing yet? Oh my gosh, can you not get it? Look, this is like a mushroom on my face, and my eyes are, you know, crying cheese. Who am I? What have I been inspired by? Anyway, I'm just going to outline my peppers. And then once I've done my peppers, I'm going to do some tiny little dots to, you know, create my pepperoni and outline my pepperonis, and then outline my cheese tears. If you haven't got what I'm doing today, after all of this series 80s and 90s cartoons, then I think you're going to have to click off and go somewhere else. But as you can see, I'm just creating some more blah 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 onto those teardrops, and then I'm going in with a black from the Intergalactic palette, and I believe the shade is called the Blackout. I just wanted to deepen these outer corners because I just didn't want to put eyeliner on and create a wing, and I felt like, you know, the less detail on this look, the better.
So prepped my hair, and as you can see, I've got some lashes on now, and I'm just going to do my inner corners with some Moonstone from the Anastasia Beverly Hills Glow Kit, and it is Sundirt.
So using that same highlighter, I'm going to do my nose, and then I'm going to use it onto my cheesy tears that I've been crying. Because yeah, why not? We like cheese, and then Vaseline on my lips.
So guys, have you guessed what 90s cartoon I was inspired by today? No? Well, So yeah, I was inspired by Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and I remember they were Teenage Mutant Hero Turtles or something like that. I can't remember. Their name changed at some point, and I was just like, why? But then obviously, you know, they didn't want violence and whatever, and children watched. Anyway, so this is how I got the look. I hope you enjoyed the tutorial. I didn't have this in my original lineup. So when I first decided to do this whole Saturdayz with Marbz cartoon theme thing, I only had 10 and I was going to only do 10 episodes, but I chose to do 15. Now, on saying that, this was not one of the 15, but then some of them were just like, yeah, do you know what, it's just not a thing. Like, it just doesn't embody the 80s and the 90s. So I decided to do Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, or TMNT, today because, well, I grew up with it, I loved it, and yeah. Who was my favorite? I think Michelangelo, was he the one that ate the pizza? Yeah, I can't have been much of a, yes, it was Michelangelo. What has been your favorite look so far? Let me know in the comments down below, or pause, or you could just click the name and look at the other playlist videos. Yeah, well, it's been a pleasure to be doing all of these makeup looks for you guys, and I will see you in episode 15. Bye guys.